It's The Journey with drug and alcohol attorney Mark G. Astor.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of The Journey. As you can see, we've got a packed room here, really special show. I'm sharing the show with my good friend Alan Mednick, who is also the host of the Real Convo podcast, and he's a board member of the American Foundation for Prevention of Suicide. I got it all that in one go, right? Not bad.
Well, reverse. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, but I'll let you get away with that.
It's okay. And to my right is my now brother from another mother, because we have bonded, Stuart Goffman, who's the creator and producer of that really, really awesome show on A&E called Addiction Unplugged.
Thank you.
I have across the table from
how did you guys bond? Was it the PSA test?
Yeah,
that you told him about that.
There's no such thing as off the record. I just want you to know.
Hot mic all the time.
It was a discussion.
We're not going to discuss my medically privileged information on my podcast. That's not happening. Jay's going to edit this stuff out. Across from me is Sean Nassif, who's the co-founder of Rebound, and I guess our special guest is Jayson Williams, who played in the NBA, but I don't think the fact that you were an all-star in the NBA really, at the end of the day, is going to be what you're remembered for. I think you're going to be remembered for what you're doing now, which is Rebound and all the people you were helping. And I got a chance to learn a little bit about you because I watched Stu's show, and I guess I'm honored, privileged that you came to talk to us. And I think you're an inspirational guy.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Stu, Sean. I appreciate it, and thanks for the kind words. I didn't get a chance to watch Stu's show. Of course, I had a chance. We had a screening. I've made a conscious choice not to watch stuff that brings me back 20 years ago because I lived through it every day. I go back and watch maybe my 15 appearances on David Letterman and stuff when I'm laughing and joking. I might watch some highlights of me playing basketball, but anything having to do with the accident that I had some 19 years ago, it brings up too much for me, and emotionally I bring down the room with it. I think I'm a warning or an example to most folk, but when they come to Rebound and Futures, I think I'm both. They get to hear my story. So I heard so many great things. Like, I know we had a screening, 400 people, Mark, came down, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place, and my family called me, which really doesn't call me about these things, because they rather me stop taking a scab off the wound and said that Stu did a fantastic job on Addiction Unplugged.
Thank you very much.
I got to tell you, I mean, and I told this to Stu, if he doesn't get an award for the show, I mean, I'd be absolutely shocked, because every single one of the episodes is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it really is, and I don't say that because
congratulations to you.
You sit next to me.
I watched all the rest
phenomenal.
of them.
It's a
I did.
fantastic
You did a great
show.
job.
And what I just got to say one thing about the show too, and about what you're doing. It was unbelievable because it brings hope. It's not one of these shows out there just to get, controversy to get ratings. Your show's going to get ratings, and it's going to be like Mark said, an Emmy winner. But if that's the right one, I'm not sure if it's Emmy or Grammy.
You might even win an Oscar.
Whatever it is. But it brings hope. It shows that people go through struggles, and they could overcome them, and then they could help other people the way you're doing it, which is incredible. So I really appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. And the joy for me was meeting, Sean and obviously you guys and Jayson, and showing some great stories, from the rock bottom to, recovery, and then helping others. And a lot of people that are not in recovery or not in this world, they don't understand recovery. It's, a lot of people that think that you just recover and that's it. And what the show does is shows that people like Sean and Jayson help a lot of people. And, obviously, Alan, you're doing unbelievable things also.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's true. So, Jayson, tell us a little bit about what Rebound is really about, because it's so unique.
Ooh, yeah. Well, we teach through outdoor venture therapy, 12-step program. We're under the umbrella of Futures Recovery Healthcare. We have psychiatrists, psychologists. We have detox. But what makes us different, every single day, for about 3 or 4 hours. We're jumping out of airplanes. We're scuba diving. We're hydroboarding. That's the hose that goes on the wave
Told you we
runner.
were gonna do
We're
something.
kayaking. We're deep sea fishing.
I said,
right?
after I saw that, I said to a text, I'm like, I think we could hang out one Sunday with Jayson and some of those guys.
So every day we're outside because we truly do believe that this overcomes anxiety. It builds self-esteem. It breaks down barriers, and it breaks the monotony of the day. But what it does is, we were just talking before, that if you have an active mind, you got to have an active body, right? Anxiety and depression comes from fear. Fear comes from the unknown. So we stay busy, and then we go back and we get the regular treatment that everybody else does, and then we go to meetings. But what we try to do is, if you come to Florida, why come to Florida and be on the air conditioner all day? You can do that in Minnesota in January, right? Come here, get out of the Freon, go outside, get some vitamin D. We like to have our classes outside on the beach, on the kayak. It's just a high intense program. I meet Sean every morning in the gym at 3:30. I get up at 3:30, I meet him at 4 o'clock. We go from 4 to 6. But the biggest part, what I love about the program, is when treatment starts. And that's when they leave, Mark. We have a app, there's a video messaging app. I was showing Alan outside, that you can look on, in 127 of our alumni. We go through and we speak to them every single day. And they can't pull the wool over our eyes because we can see them, and like we have word of the day, might be, today was free will. So what you're going to do with your free time, your free will, and when they comment, I can see if they have on sunglasses and it's raining. I can see their demeanor. I can say, hey, you know what? Hey, Stu, let me see where you're at. Show me your boss. Show me your wife. Show me your kids. So we keep each other accountable. And that's what gets people better. Accountability, structure, empathy. And, I have to bring it every single day, right? I got to come in as a 10 because that's why I get to the gym. Because sometimes in the morning, I'm bouncing off the walls. I got to get down to a 10. Some days I wake up and I need to pick myself up because I only got 30 days to get somebody better, so I can't have an off day.
Yeah, so you said there's like 3 different levels of the program?
Yeah, it's 3 different levels. You have Orendo, which is the top of the line. That's where you go in, and it's just the same as Rebound. You stay in the same kind of conditions, but you're not jumping out of airplanes. You're not in the water. That's an option to you. You can bring that on, but Rebound is a much more active program. It's a place where you want to come in, you want to get, drop 15 pounds or put 15 pounds of muscle on in 30 days. It's very high intense, very much inspirational. A lot of coaching goes on there. We're like, there's no, I'm going to sleep in today until 11 o'clock. It's like, nah, let's go, get up. One of the best things that alumni has ever told us is that Rebound, why they love the program, they don't tell you what not to do. They show you different things to do to have fun. So you'll learn 19 different activities that you have never done in your life, most people. So when I went on vacation, now I'm learning, instead of being in the casino and the bar, I'm learning, everybody comes to our program most likely get scuba diving certified. Everybody works there scuba diving certified. So I'm going to see the bottom of the ocean now. I'm on top of the water. I'm on the beach instead of hungover. Like the beds are better in the Bahamas. And then the other program is the core program, where you pretty much are in class, you're getting all the tools that you need, and you get us for like an hour in the day. In the beginning, we get there 7 to 8, and then we do something from 4:30 to 5:30. But you're on campus most of the time.
Right.
And one of the things I just have to add there with what you're doing, what we talk about with suicide prevention is you got to create a purpose, and you got to have something for them to look forward to. What you're doing is you're putting an environment for them where, to go skydiving, to do all these things, it's a purpose that they want to get better. And once they start doing that, they see the beauty of the world. Mm-hmm. They see the beauty of I've never been skydiving, but I'm sure when you go with the freedom that you have there, or going to see the beautiful in the sea, mm-hmm. what you're doing is giving a purpose. And then what you're doing with the app does the same thing, because I got to tell you, I'm sure a lot of these people look forward to waking up in the morning and seeing what the word of the day is, or whatever you're doing, and then contributing to that. So that's something for them to look forward to. So everything you're doing, I think, is incredible, and I've never heard of that before, what you're doing. So I got to commend you on how you came up with that. Right. I don't know, but it's phenomenal.
And I just want to say something. Futures is a beautiful place. It's like 4 seasons. It's beautiful, right? But what Jayson does, and I've been to rehabs all over the U.S. What Jayson and Sean do is out of the box, and everybody has the same program. You know, you have to have the groups, you have to have the one-on-ones. But as far as out of the box, this is what Jayson and Sean does, and it's just different, and it's attacking the problem from a different angle, and with the app, that is tremendous. You know, everybody goes to Facebook, or they email, or they're chatting with their alumni. This is way better, and it's and it's engaging every day, and that is that's the key. Just like you said, you have to be engaged every day, and it's unbelievable what you guys are doing.
Yeah, look, I think we all have to have purpose. I know for me, after I left the prosecutor's office and practiced law, I was miserable. And I have a friend of mine, she's a therapist, and I called her up one day. I said, I think I'm depressed. She said, you're not depressed. You're bored. You don't have any purpose. Get out of bed and go and help somebody and have purpose. See if you still feel depressed. And you know what? She's right. And I'm not saying that people don't have real depression and stuff, but sometimes what we think is depression is really the fact that we just haven't found a way to go and help other people. And once you do that, it totally changes things. And I notice the one message I got out of what your program is about, it's about helping people and making a difference. And the people that I saw that you interviewed, I mean, once they found purpose, because you had purpose, it totally changed their outlook on life.
Yeah, Mark, it told me Curtis Martin, the Hall of Fame running back for the Patriots and the New York Jets, teaches Bible study and has a conversation. And so all our alumni and everybody get on this phone call. And you saw him at the premiere. He's big in charge. We got Charles Barkley's involved. Charles Oakley's involved.
Who, by the way, is a big Michigan fan. I just want to put that out there. He's picked Michigan to win the last NCAA.
Who's that?
Charles always picked Michigan to win the NCAA.
Yeah, but you know it.
All right. We don't have to go to Michigan.
When Charles picked us last year to win it, I said, that's a curse. We're definitely not winning it.
And Mark, Charles needs rebound. This ain't water in Charles's cup. Trust me. That's for sure. But Curtis Martin taught us in Bible study that where the needs of the world are going this way, and your skill and ability is going this way, where they intersect, that's your purpose. I wanted to coach St. John's University. That was a dream of mine. But since I got down here at Futures, at Rebound, I can't teach a kid how to do a jump hook or a jump shot or running down. When they helping me help others save my life. Right. So like today when we leave the show, we're going over to the airport. We got to drive all the way to Jupiter, get in the company car because it's insured, go to the airport, pick them up, help them get adjusted, and then go down and we'll play volleyball in the pool with the rest of the, we call them teammates, not clients because I'm in there with them. And then I'm probably get back home around 8:15 and I'm in bed by 9 o'clock. I'm out and start the whole day over. And the letters and we were just talking about, you just showed me a text, Alan, outside. Sometimes you wake up and me and Sean, we pick each other. We're all crazy, but we're not crazy at the same time, which is what helps us, right? So when we outside, Alan just showed me a text. He's like, this is why I do this. Look at this text. And some days I'm like, God, this is just too much. I just can't do it. And all of a sudden you get a phone call from somebody who, you might have played against, maybe somebody at Georgetown University where we were just talking about, and you can't stand that guy and played against him in the NBA, and they go, hey, man, I got a loved one that needs help. And you're like, wow, this guy called me. Like, I love that responsibility. Right. Yeah, thank you, God, right? Because I get another 30 days of helping somebody that helps me. So sometimes I go, man, I can't do this no more. It's just too much. And as soon as I do that, God says, all right, here you go. Here goes somebody. Right. Here goes a 19-year-old. Here goes a 26-year-old. Here goes an 81. We had an 81-year-old guy. Got some time?
Let's talk. I only waited 6 months to get him into have time, right?
He was our first client, right? So we start this thing, Rebound, and our first client calls up. The guy sounded like he was 40. And we were like, okay, we're going to pick the guy up, right? And we were like, look for this guy. This guy goes, how you doing, Jayson? You want to take a picture? Like, the guy's all around me at the baggage claim with Sean. I'm like, hey, right, brother, okay, let's take a picture. He's like, let's take a picture. So I walk over here. We're waiting for the guy. The guy's still following me, right? But, he's older. Really old. 81, right? So 81 years young. So I'm like, I go, my man. I'm just waiting on somebody named Earl to come through. And he goes, I'm Earl. And I went, so we had to come back when our first client was 81. And he was like, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going in that water. I ain't never been to the beach. I'm 81 years old. I'm not going to water. I said, come on, Earl, you can go in the water, Earl. It's going to be fine. So right about that time, we had about 3 more NBA players to check in. We started building. We had about 20 people, and then we went to the beach. And Sean do what he does, MMA fighter. He goes over and says, "Earl, you got to get in that water. Everybody gets in the water. Rebound. Everybody participate." Well, man, nobody gonna scare me. I'll go in the water. I don't want to go in the water. He went in the water, never been in the beach, right? So he doesn't even know how soft the sand. So he takes a step, and we all act like we're not watching him, right? So we don't want him to be embarrassed. So he says, "Oh, man, this is okay." Right, takes another step about 10 seconds later, and then we're looking back and we're watching this wave come. All of a sudden, this wave comes and he hits him. It turns him upside down and twists him upside down. His feet on the back.
Re-traumatized the guy.
And it rolls him back onto the sand. His shorts come off. He pulls it back up. He comes back in and he goes, "Man, I had back pain for 52 years." He goes, "Man, that thing cracked my back. I'm ready to go." And he goes, but that's the kind of experiences that you never had.
Right.
Over the horseback riding, yeah, people, some people fall off horses. Some people, the first time we went skydiving, the first time, Mark, our therapist, went first. The first time he went up, and the NBA players were like, "Hey, man, that don't look right. This not coming out." And I'm like, "No, it's okay. It's okay." All of a sudden, well, splat. And we run out. I'm going, "Oh my God, I'm convinced I can't take this." I'm like, "This guy," and then look, and it's the first parachute. He pulled it, and it ripped, and it didn't open, so they cut it loose. And then we see him coming. He landed in the cane field. So the guy Dave, we roll over to, who has about 20,000 jumps, right? We roll over to him. I go, "Dave," I go, "Man, what happened?" He goes, he's barefoot, big, country strong guy, and he goes, "Sometimes the magic works, and sometimes it don't." He told me, "You have nothing to worry about with me." He goes, when you're 13,000 feet up, and he says, the cows start looking like ants, that's good. He says, but when the ants start looking like cows, splat, that's a problem.
Well, I just got to say one thing. You were talking about St. John's and wanting to coach there, but you coach, at St. John's you'll coach, 12 kids a year?
Yeah.
Okay. How many kids are you coaching right now?
That's exactly
so
right.
You're getting out there, and your role model. People are looking up to you so much more now probably than they ever did or ever will again. Because when you tell your story, and I know I was talking with Audra outside, your partner, and I told her every day by me telling a story about my experiences, people come up to me and share their stories, and they'll tell me what they're going through. They're looking for help, and I feel like if I don't tell the story, that they're gonna keep in silence. And what you're doing is far beyond that, because you're actually getting people in and helping them and staying with them and keeping in contact with them, and it's amazing what you're doing. So don't go coaching St. John's. Okay, that's the story here. Right. You're coaching so many more people right now.
The head football coach at Michigan position is going to be open soon.
No, that's okay.
If you want to coach Michigan
Everything
football,
will be a double reverse.
I'm recruiting right now.
I'd like to know what Sean, how you.
Yeah, well, I don't. So you have a mixed martial arts background?
Yeah, since I was 5 years old, my mom, she trained martial arts. She was a black belt in judo and kickboxer. And
mess with his mother. She's
yeah.
You
just opened the door
right?
here, Mark.
Right.
Thank you, Mark.
She sounds like she sounds like Ronda Rousey's mother. She's attacking you in the middle of the night while you're asleep. Just see if you can armbar her.
Listen, he does Krav Maga. I want to know if MMA can take Krav Maga.
It depends.
I don't know if MMA can take him, but his mama Wendy will.
It sounds like his mother could whoop the both of us. Okay, so it don't really matter. If I whooped him, his mother's whooping me. If I don't, she's still whooping me.
His mother about 6'3", about 250. Right, and has a foot like this, and she can put a board up here and kick it and break the board up here. And they call her, right? She's Scandinavian, right?
Yeah,
she's a Viking.
She's Norwegian.
Norwegian, and they call her Thunderfoot. So his daddy's name is Juan. So he said, "Juan, be home by 11:30."
My dad said, "Yes, ma'am."
Sí, señorita.
He's coming home at 10 o'clock just to be safe.
Just to be safe. There's no discrepancy. But I started at 5, and we lived in Miami, and my mom, I was a shy little kid, and I guess you can call it at this day and age, it'd be like a sort of anxiety. I had nurse, but
they give medication for that these days, right? Instead of sending you to martial arts.
Yeah, back then my mom was like, my mom was very energetic. I was the oldest of 3 boys, and then she had my dad, and she was the youngest. She was the youngest daughter of 3 boys, so there was a lot of grew up around boys. She's a rough and tough person, And she saw how much of like a, I guess, kind of a quote unquote sissy I was. I didn't like any kind of stimulation. And if I got an A, it was like, good job, I go hide. If I got a bad thing, bad no sticker or whatever, she'd be like, hey, we got to work on this. I'd still go hide and cry. And she was like, okay, none of this. Started martial arts young. It was a great confidence builder, self-esteem, activity, and that kept me busy my whole life. It wasn't like a seasonal sport where all these other sports, you have a season, and then in the off season you get in trouble, right? Martial arts is all year round.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah, that's
Gotta
right.
keep training.
And it just kind of stuck with me my whole life, and it was great for, like I said, getting rid of anxiety, self-esteem, because the person you're training with, there's a mutual respect there. You're both there for the same reason, and that was a great part of it.
So do you integrate any of that into the program?
Yeah, we do, but let me tell you some great stories. So every once in a while, we get the little guy comes in, 19 years old, lives up in the hills, right, and comes into the inner city, cops some drugs, thinks he's a gangster now, right? Very wealthy young fellow who thinks he's a gang Diddy Baba or whatever you want to call it, and he comes in and they got their hat on backwards when we pick him up from the airport, come walking around like, I ain't taking this stuff, and then my mama, asked me to come here, the only reason I'm here, and this and that. So we introduce him. Everybody in our place looks like Sean and I. We're small guys. Everybody's in, big guys in great shape because we work out together all the time. So we put Sean out there, and we do MMA, and then we have that kid stand up, and we're always on our dock, right? And he looks over at Sean. He's like, yeah, I do this, all the time, whatever. And we say, hold this. Right? So he holds up the cushion, right? And Sean goes, and he kicks it, right? And the kid and the thing go right off the dock, right in the water. He come back up and he goes, oh man, can I call my mom? Right? And then that's when
cannot call your mom. You can call his mom, but not your own mom.
So it brings them right back into purpose. Like, look, this is for real. We got some real men, and we teach people how to become, productive citizens. So that's just one of the stories, but.
I love it. Well, I mean, for me, it's really like it's the one thing I do where I call it my place of peace. I just completely shut the rest of the world out. If I'm teaching class, I'm focused on my students. I don't think about anything else.
Yeah,
it's great. It keeps
because
me.
Look how many times when I went to treatment, they asked me. My therapist was Cody, and Cody's now our clinical director at Rebound, but he's a therapist here at Futures. And what he taught me was, he said, first of all, he said, Jay, you got to give it all away to keep it. You know that. I said, yeah, I know that. He says, well, I have a kid here who just came in. He's 18. He wants to play basketball with you. I said, oh, great. So we didn't even have a basketball hoop where we was going, Rusty. So I went out there, asked the owner to buy me a ball, and it came. So I said, meet me out there at 6 o'clock. So I got out in the court at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark. No kidding, until about 7 o'clock. So I went back to my room, and that's what you did. You sat around all day. So then the kid was like, I want an AMA, leave against medical advice. I don't want to leave. Jayson didn't play basketball with me. So I go to the kid's room. I go, what do you mean? You didn't want it. I was out there on the court. He goes, no, on the court. He goes, I was downstairs. I said, where? He's in the game room. He want to play me in video game, basketball 2000, NBA or something. I said, no, man, you get to play with me as a tangible. But that's the problem, right? When we throw basketball camps today, we can't even get at a free camp 300 kids no more. It's difficult because kids are on their phone and technology, which is an addiction. So we help a lot of kids who can't get in front of their phone. Now they got the most beautiful parks in the world. Yep. When we were growing up, you had the chain on there, there was glass on there. Now they got these beautiful parks and they're empty. So just being active, getting somebody outside. Our first three clients were hooked to technology. We had the Earl came in. He was older. He didn't mess with it, but the next kid came.
Yep.
Yeah. They were all hooked on technology.
If there was a screen, he was stuck.
Yeah.
Couldn't have any screens in a room. It was just completely. Even TV monitors in our classrooms, we'd be like, do not. Turn those things on, like please.
Even in the vehicles.
Yeah, the vehicles.
Yeah, the vehicles. They look at the vehicles.
We used to watch
just
TVs
like,
in the ride.
Yeah, you put the GPS on, and it was just like. But once you got them outside, that was it. Once you got them playing and active, they left that stuff alone. It's just simple. I say this to our partner all the time. There is no white coat to this and stethoscope. There's no doctor that's going to cure it. My thing, the doctor's here to stabilize you. It's going to be you getting outside and you getting in some vitamin D and some energy and some active, and then when you leave, having somebody keep you accountable. We went scuba diving and snorkeling today, right? And one of the things we taught is that in 3 feet, or you have to stay close to somebody within 3 feet. That's why when you scuba dive, you don't use your hands, because you can knock, their breathing apparatus out of their mouth, right? So you have to stay close to them, but you can't use your hands. And that's your accountability, your buddy. And that's what you need when you leave here. People go, oh, I don't want to mess with somebody for 6 months until they leave. That's when treatment starts. And I will not worry about anybody telling me, Jay, you spend too much time with the alumni. Jay, you shouldn't do a Marco Polo app. It's illegal. You can't be talking HIPAA laws and that. Let somebody tell me from somewhere else to say, I cannot, I'm spending too much time with alumni. That's when treatment starts.
But you're saving lives.
You're saving lives, you know?
Yeah.
So
there's a big difference between getting clean and staying clean, and
That's
that's what
right.
I tell
Yeah,
the families. I'll get your kids clean, but they got to work the program
Right.
afterwards.
Yeah, and so your facility, is it like for somebody that's trying to get better, or is it somebody that's at a detox and then they come to you to sustain it, or?
go ahead, Sean.
Either way, we have both. Through the Rebound Program, if you want to sustain your health, you can come to the Rebound or Renda and do all these programs. So if you've already even been through the detox, you can come through and you've worked in your program. Rebound and Renda, no problem. You can come in there and work continue your, road to sobriety, and do all those activities and really build a foundation for what you're going to now have for the rest of your life.
But if you are suffering from an addiction, drugs or alcohol, you come in and you want to come to Rebound, you come in, you get detox just like any other program. We're like any other program as far as psychologists and psychiatrists, and the only thing that makes us different is that we're outside most of the time with our psychiatrists and psychologists and doing outdoor venture therapy. So we specialize in drugs and alcohol and mental illness and gambling also. That's a big, how to have fun. Like we play softball on Sundays, we play golf. How to have fun without gambling, but and being competitive, right?
Right.
So everybody wonder, let's throw $1 on it, let's throw some push-ups on it. Nah, let's root for each other, and let's not play and hope that each other do bad. Let's beat up on the course. Let's beat up on the ocean. Let's beat up on the other team, but let us know that we're sticking together. So, we have a lot of people, because that's the only thing that could take the NBA down. Remember that. It's not drugs or alcohol, it's gambling.
Yeah. And again, it's a family atmosphere that you're creating. So when you start, doing the gambling, it becomes a competitive thing, and then your brain starts, I don't know, the endorphins or whatever they call it, but it becomes competitive, and then if you lose, you get emotional.
Right.
And it's a high and a low, and that's what you're trying to avoid, the highs and lows, and keep a constant path.
Right.
So it's a great.
And what we telling Alan, like, I'm no guru to this. A lot of energy, you hear me? I don't have a degree in this. I don't have anything. You come in, I'm gonna tell you my story. I'm gonna tell you this program is designed by me and Sean, but mostly by me, because this is what I went through. It worked for me. I can't be in a classroom for 10, 12 hours a day sitting across from somebody. I have to be out there. And let me tell you something, Mark. You want to get to know somebody? Go out and do an activity with them where you have to be competitive. If I sit across from you in this table, I can be anybody I want. Let me see you at 13,000 feet when I'm about to push you out the airplane on the bottom of the ocean.
Let me tell you something.
Right?
Don't go to the neurologist before you go.
Right. We take motorcycle lessons at Harley Davidson, so it's like 3 hours, So 3 hours we do motorcycle lessons and stuff like that to learn, and you learn a lot, about somebody. And, we get to see you when you wake up, we get to see you when you go to bed, but we get to see you at high stress situations. And if I'm sitting across from you in a classroom all day like this, which is needed also, you can be anybody you want to be. But we see your true characters when, you're getting the ball spiked on you, or you quit during the game, or you're losing and you start pouting, that kind of stuff.
So can we talk a little bit about your own journey?
Yes.
Because, that was really a big part of the show, Stu, and it was, to me, that was unbelievable. I think you're pretty much a walking miracle, honestly. The fact that you're even sitting here is really testament to your inner strength, I think.
Thank you.
So talk about your own journey. I mean, when did your own substance use issues start?
Well, that we were talking about this on that show. I was abused by a family member, and I have a father who's African American and a mother who is white, and we moved to the deep south of South Carolina trying to escape from New York racism. And this early 70s, go figure it out one day. And then Roots comes out, right? Alex Haley puts that movie out, and the school bus ride, here I am, a high yellow blonde hair, a white mother and a black father. People have never seen this in this little town called Ritter, and we had a pig farm, and then my dad made me feed the pigs every day, which didn't help because I got on a bus smelling like a pig. I looked different, and roots is out. So that ride on the bus ride, and they say that a person learns 70% of what they're going to learn in their life, they learn on the school bus. And every day, man, that bus couldn't get there quick enough because they just kicked my behind. I had no place. I had no white friends. I had no black friends. Even my family members shied away from me. So I became good with my imagination, and I trusted people a lot. And then I had a family member, an uncle, who people say molestation, but it wasn't molestation. It was much more than that. It was painful, and I was smart enough at this age to know I could not go back and tell my dad because my dad would hurt his own brother. So I had to live with that, and that was painful. And then, when I was 13, going on 14, came home and saw my sister lying in a pool of blood. She was a model for Salem Cigarettes. She was beautiful. A guy robbed her for $2, stabbed her 17 times, and beat her over the face with a hammer and deformed her. My sister was one of the first women in New York City to catch the AIDS virus. And back then, it's not like it is now. Unfortunately, we had to take back elevators, and when she was laying there, they strapped her to the bed, and my mother would wear a hazmat suit to feed her daughter. I never did that. Me and my mom had issues for that to the day she died because I could see my mother feeding her own daughter with one of them hazmat suits on. I never did that. I stayed with my sister. She died quickly, 6 months. But she started using drugs with my other sister because we had to take all the mirrors out of the house because her face was deformed. And both my sisters died for a guy named Sergio for robbing them for $2. My third sister married an alcoholic. He came home, had a bad day, and made it bad for everyone because he shot my other sister in the face, Rose, and killed her. Then he killed himself. I ended up raising and adopting my two sisters' children, taking them to St. John's University. I lived on the campus, off-campus facility, but near St. John's. And every morning I had to wake up around 5 o'clock, take my son to school, which was in Manhattan, 45 minutes each way, come back, wake my daughter up, take her to school. Then after I go to class and then go pick up my son, come back, pick up my daughter, then bring them to practice. And they're sitting in Lou Carnesecca, Hall of Fame coach. I love him to death, but he practiced for 5 hours. And then I would have to help them with their homework, do my homework, take them a bath, and then feed them, and still try to do what a 17-year-old does at the most famous university in the world. And the only accolade that I take in my life is that in 4 years of college, they missed 5 days of school, and I got drafted for the first round. But the most important thing is that they never missed school. And people say, how did you do that? And I said, I didn't really have a choice. I never thought about it.
Just did it.
Yeah. And then you guys know the rest of the journey. People didn't know that part of my life.
When did you take up basketball? Because I got the impression from the program that it was something it wasn't something you started doing at an early age. It was sort of later on.
Yeah, it was later on. I couldn't play basketball because my sisters were dying, and I had to raise their children even after So when I was 14 years old, I would look down from the window and everybody be playing. But I would get a little window, about 45 minutes, Mark. And that 45 minutes where my little EJ would go to sleep and Mednick would be with my mother, I would go downstairs and nobody would be there then, and I practiced. But I practiced hard and fierce and at game speed. And so I got better in 45 minutes because everything I did was for real. Instead of just being a lolly-dolly, shooting around or running up and down with no purpose, I played really well. And I got really good in that 45 minutes every day. But I never wanted to play basketball. I just wanted to own a construction company and work with my dad. Right. And then my dad looked at me, and he's an old Southern guy, and he go, you know, how much you gonna charge us for you to go to St. John's to play there? And I go, no, Dad. It's a scholarship. We getting it free. And then when we got the contract and we started playing basketball, I don't know if you guys know this, but I always wonder how much better I would have been when I see Shaquille and all these guys I had to check every day, and Michael Jordan. It's because my dad didn't believe that he dribbled with two hands. basketball, that ain't no job. That ain't no job, Jason. So I had my CDL Class A hazmat driver license. So I drove tractor trailer. He had a tractor trailer company, gas station, and a construction. So every morning we would have to get up, and I have to load up a D8 bulldozer, put on the back, bring it to Newark, unload it, and then we have shoot around. That's when you go practice for about an hour before you play the game that night. Go over your plays and the other team's plays. Then I would finish that about 12:30, and then I would have to go back and finish work. And then about 4:30, I'd knock off. I have concrete and grease, and I had to go play Shaquille O'Neal, and that was my life, my whole career. And then my dad, because he was like, he didn't believe that basketball was, but what he was telling me was that, son, you have a disease. You're allergic for idle time and alcohol. And he's right, because when the Nets finally did give me this big contract, and they told my dad, we don't want him on the scaffold or driving tractor trailers no more. We gave him $100 million, well, he earned $100 million. He can't do that. My father said, you don't want him, you just want him to play basketball and not work? And he said, well, good luck with that. And he was right, because without structure for me comes destruction. And I got to stay busy. And that's what happened. I had an accident in my house. That's something I have to live with every single day of my life. It's the reason why I don't watch or I don't do internet or any of those things. It's why I stay at Futures Recovery Healthcare every day, at Futures and Rebound and working, is because I'm not yet over that. That's something that forgiving yourself for doing an accident that could have been avoided and acting the way I did after that, and the pain that I caused my kids, my family, his family, Mr. Christophe's family, Ms. Christophe, my fans, is something that when I do this interviews like this, I am totally finished, like I'm drained. I don't like doing these interviews. My kids don't like me doing it because they got to go to school and hear it. But this is something that I've chose to do to release the stigma. Me and Alan were talking before, if you have cancer, you get chemo, and if you're addicted to something, you go get treatment. I get anxiety when I have to come in here and talk about this. But God always comes back and interjects. Like, we leave here, we're going to pick up a teammate or a client from the airport. So that picks me back up. But if I ever leave here, I got to go back to the gym, and I just brought up this topic. Like Alan did this great piece and said, did you watch it? I haven't watched or heard or read anything about me in almost 20 years. I live breath by breath, not day by day. I live by trying to give everything that I have away to keep my sanity and try to get my peace and forgive myself for taking something from a man, all he's going to have and all he ever would have. So I apologize for that, and I take full responsibility for that. And I hope that more and more people come get help. And if you don't come to Futures, Rebound, go somewhere and get help, because life is pretty good when you're sober.
If I could just say something. First of all, I really appreciate you saying that for several reasons, and you're a great man. I grew up in Jersey, I was telling you, and the Nets were my team, and I used to watch you play. You were my idol playing, because when I saw you off the court with your teammates and everybody else, you had a big smile, you were a leader, and you brought up everybody else around you from a fan's perspective. And when you got on that court, you were a leader on the court. Nobody knew what was going on in your life, but you were a leader, you were a man, and you did your job. I just want to ask, what you're talking about right now, I know what I went through after my daughter passed, and I didn't talk about it, I didn't say a thing when I opened up. It helped me feel better, and what you're doing, I hope it makes you feel better opening up, because you're helping so many people out there by just telling your story. No matter what happened, you're doing something fantastic. You 100%. Really are, and you're helping people you don't even realize by just hearing your voice and knowing that you could get help and you could create a purpose for other people. It's really inspiring. It really is.
Well, thank you, Alan. it's no better feeling when we go through the gate of futures and people waiting to see you, right? You get 15, 20 people up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I feel safe there. I feel safe because I'm around people who are cracked but not broken.
Right.
You know, we could be repaired. Only until I totally destroyed myself, and in the process of fixing myself, I discovered who I was. So I'm around people, and the sun is just coming up, and I could just reach out and hug everybody, and I'm like, this is my family. These people. I go to war for these people because I have family members I have to feed. Stu, Mark with a long handled spoon. I got to take them like a prescription drug in small dosages, right? But when you graduate the program, if it says Rebound behind your name, I pick it up no matter what. If my phone rang right now, it could be my brother watches. He's gonna say that's why. It says brother. I'm not picking it up. If it said Rebound, I would stop this interview to pick it up for our alumni, because I know they're not calling and say, hey Jay, you got this, that, and that. They're calling and say, hey man, how you doing today? Or hey man, I'm struggling right now. You know what my boss told me? You know what my wife told me? You know what my kid told me? And then we work it out together, right? I don't like angles no more. I don't like people cutting into me. I like people bouncing stuff off me. I don't like sharp corners. Let's just do this together. I just want to laugh and be happy and help people have fun. And that's when alumni. So I see Rebound behind your name, I'm picking it up. I don't care what I'm doing. So I love what I'm doing. I finally found something that I'm pretty good at. I'm pretty good through the grace of God.
Right.
Through the grace of God, helping people get better and stay better. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say one thing. When we filmed at Futures, I guess 2 months ago, my mother came. She didn't know anything about Jayson Williams, and she was listening to your story. And you're her favorite basketball player ever.
Oh.
And I get all these emails. I got all these posts on Facebook, and people are like, "Oh my God!" You were such a charismatic leader that I'm sure the AMAs at Futures are zero, because you know what, Sean and you are leaders, and you are I guess keep everybody accountable.
It's real,
and that's real is right. And people will not just leave, because when you go to a different treatment center, people just leave. And I have to go to you to say, listen, I have to leave, but I'm going to AMA. I'm not going to do it. And that's why Futures and Rebound are a great alternative for treatment, because people are not going to leave, and their parents will be very happy, saying and I know these guys and the other guys from Jason's crew. They're big. And no one's going to leave, because you have to go through. I'm not going to go through.
And it sounds like Sean's mom is going to be like the love.
No,
she's the
no, I can say
I deal with her. So
maybe I can convince Sean that I'm going, but I'm not going to go from Sean to Jayson, and all the other guys are just as big and strong, and they will keep you accountable.
I love it.
But I think it's more, the physical part, great.
Well,
but I think it's the love, too. And people could feel the love, feel the sincerity, feel that you really care about them. And I think that's what will keep them there, too, and we'll keep mostly out of trouble and sober and following the right path.
Well, anytime we go to New York, we go to Atlanta, we go to Cleveland, we always have some alumni. So and we talk every day. So we say, you want to go to St. John's game? So Sean's booking something in California right now to do something with Big Boy Radio and a couple other shows. So we'll find our alumni there, and they'll come out wherever they're at in California or on the West Coast, and we'll get together. It's just like, man, you think when becoming a born-again Christian, you'll go, I'm not going to have any more fun. I can't do anything. And then you go, oh, man,
So the show looks like fun to me.
And then you become sober and you go, it's no fun. Like when people used to tell me I don't drink, I used to go, something wrong with that guy, right? I don't trust that guy. Coach Carnesecca used to always say, anytime you hear somebody tell you, Coach Carnesecca Italian, you go, anytime you hear, hey, you remember when? He goes, get going, And I said, when people that don't drink, get away from them. Now I'm like, I can't believe that I sat down, Mark, at some dinners. Like right now, it's the most boring. After you go down to and you have to catch a dinner. So the people I'm not sure about, I don't go to dinner with, right? The people that I'm weary of, I'll do breakfast with, right? Because if I'm not sure where you're at in your life, I know at breakfast you're going to be out. And if I kind of know, and I'm not lunch, but I'm not doing dinner with you if I'm not sure. Because let me tell you something, they're ordering. I'm ordering dessert when they're ordering appetizers because the conversation is just, I'm like, I can't believe that was me. I can't believe I could sit down 6 hours. I can't believe me and Sean would go to dinner and I'm like, the bill will come back at like $90 and I'm like, they got that wrong, didn't they? And it's still after 4 years, because, when you used to go to dinner, it's $3,000. It's all alcohol.
Yep.
Right? The money that you save, the life you have now.
It's true. So I want to know, how do people find out about Rebound, Sean and Jayson?
You can call 855-502-HOPE and get a hold. Sometimes Jason and I work the phone lines, maybe even get us. Or you can go to www.futuresrecoveryhealthcare.com/rebound. And that's our site. You get to see all of our stuff and learn a little bit more about our program. I mean, it's a blast, man. So.
And actually, if you could talk about, do you take insurance? I mean, people have financial issues too. Mm-hmm. How does that work? Do you guys have insurance you take or?
Yeah, we take insurance. We take all insurances. And with all the programs we have there, you're bound to find some sort of help with us. That's the great thing is that we have the different kinds of programs, and with all the we're open to. We have financing. We have everything there. So.
Awesome. And if you don't, just call us anyway, and we'll help you find someplace if it's not right for you. I know Mark was telling me, and Alan told me you guys do interventions. If you ever need my help in doing anything, you're having an event, anything to bring awareness to this, it's so much fun, man. So much energy. It's nothing like getting up in the morning and not having to act like you're sneaking in, and having, being the most energized person. We had a guy, this would be the only, nobody ever wants to get off detox when you go to other places. I'm not beating down any other place because other places, anybody in this business knows how hard it is. Right. But here, people come in and they ready to get off detox right away because they're ready to start an outdoor adventure therapy. They're telling the doctor, look, I'm fine, I'm good, I want to get going, I want to get active. And if you have an active mind, you got to have an active body. So that's just the energy to get going. When you have energy, you can deal with stuff. Let me just say this. I know you guys, I'm talking too much, but this.
It's good.
The worst defeats in my life is when I didn't have energy. My dad used to tell me all the time, he said, Jayson, he said, boy, let me tell you something. You got to play at 110% just to be what Shaq is at 70. He said, you know what potential mean? He said, everybody tell you, Jayson Williams got potential. Jayson Williams got potential. Potential mean you ain't done shit lately, boy. That's what it means. He said, you got to be going hard all the time to be what it was. And that is the truth. I love having more energy than it. I love getting to bed early. I love being up in the morning and driving to work. Sean and I at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock, talking to the alumni, people, and getting to the gated futures. And 15 or 20 people up when they said we can't get up, right? Us addicts and alcoholics can't get up at this time, especially in treatment. You're not going to get up. And people out there playing disc golf. We're playing wiffle ball. We're playing bocce, volleyball. We're just doing all these crazy things. Disc golf, which people, and then we have this own wing, which is pretty cool. A first responder wing for just first responders.
Do you really?
Yeah, PTSD, cool. Man.
Really?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah. So we just went down to Louisiana for NOBLE, the National Organization for Black Law Enforcement Executives. They had 3,500 people of color who are law enforcement. We spent 5 days just hanging out with them, going to all their different stations and groups to find out what makes them tick. And all the pressure, we were talking about New York police officers. You said 6 people have killed themselves since June. Yeah. So we have an all responders wing there, just in case if you are from local and you come down here and you don't want to run into somebody, you can do it on that side. But most of the time they have their own special, because pulling a 3-year-old out of a car accident, the things that they see, the stress and that stuff that keeps in their mind, I know what I go through every day. Right. So only they can talk to each other and get it going. And then if they want to get with everybody else, they can.
Well, one of the powerful things about that you're keeping them together, because I know when veterans leave when people leave the military, when they leave their police station or a fire station, they lose a family. They feel like they lost their the people that understand them, and they don't feel like they could go back in. Mm-hmm. And that's another big problem with depression with first responders, that they think they lost their family. When you put them all together and they all understand what they each went through, it's powerful. Yep. It really is. So that's incredible.
Yep.
I love it. So, Alan, give out the information for your podcast, because this is our first joint podcast.
So it's Real Convo on WJNO iHeartRadio 1290. It airs on Saturdays at 12 o'clock. Or you could go on to the iHeart web page or the app and go to WJNO and listen to it.
Alan's been getting some really good guests. I got to tell you, I've actually been stealing.
You're not stealing them.
I turned on yesterday, saw Miranda Khan. I'm like, I want Miranda Khan. So I sent her a message through Facebook. I'm like, Miranda, you don't know me. I'm a friend of Alan's. When you come on my show? She's like, sure. So then I called Alan. I said, Alan, Miranda's coming on the show on Monday. So Stu, give out the information for the show, because I know we have a few episodes left to go, right? And also
we're done.
They can catch the rerounds though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
On demand.
So you can go to On Demand on ADDICTION.com, or you can download it. I think it's AETV.com, and you can watch it on your phone, your computer. And my website is ADDICTIONUnplugged.com.
And when are the shows starting for next year? Do you know yet?
So we're planning it for. We're going to probably film in probably December or January, and probably another 9 months. But again, the whole thing was getting more people into treatment.
Right.
And that's, Jayson, you're doing it, Sean, and you. Everybody's, that is the important thing. Just like you said, Jayson, if you can call Futures, even if you don't have the right insurance, if you don't have any insurance, Mike or Deja or Elizabeth or someone will help you go to the right resource. So even if it's not at Futures, someone will help you.
Yeah. Call 855-502-HOPE, and then we'll help you find someplace. Even if you got to sleep on my couch. That has happened. That has happened. We're going to get you right.
I love it.
Through the grace of God. And Mark, we got to thank you, man. Thank you for
coming in.
I appreciate you. I've heard so much about you. Kim talks about you. And what you're doing to help release this stigma and to help people get into to treatment centers and beat this addiction is much applauded, man. So I want to thank you. Thank you, Mark Astor, my man.
I would never play basketball with you. I might fight with him, though. He's not that much with it. Although I'm not messing with his mother.
I'm sorry.
He's like, I'm going to get my mother down. She's like,
fight him, leave his mama alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. You can find us on the web, drugandalcoholattorneys.com. You can email me, Mark, at drugandalcoholattorneys.com. Or you can call us 561-419-6095. Until next week, thanks for tuning in.